Car's got 146,456 miles. It's a one-owner car. I purchased this car from the original owner sometime over the winter. We put a lot of work into this car. I'm going to crank the AC real quick because it's very warm. Off the top of my head, what we did to this car is it's got all new brand new brake pads and rotors all around. It's got brand new Pirelli tires. The wheels were refinished. When I got the car, it had an aftermarket radiator that I didn't like the way it was set up. It was very unattractive. A lot of the hoses, they weren't OEM hoses. It was kind of hokey. These radiators are no longer available from Mercedes-Benz. So I got an aftermarket replacement, an all aluminum radiator built by a company called Champion. It fits up real nice to the brand new OEM hoses. I'll turn this AC down in a moment. So it's got a new radiator, got a valve cover gasket, new glow plugs. All the fluids and filters are fresh on this car. Motor mounts, transmission mount. When I got the car, we noticed that the transmission had a leak. We presumed that it was just the front seal. It was going to need to be resealed. I brought this car over to a place called In Gear Transmission in Manasquan, New Jersey, and subject to their inspection, they determined that it would be in my best interest if we just rebuild the entire transmission, which we did. So the transmission is freshly rebuilt. AC in the car, everything in the AC system had to be replaced, and it wasn't all at once. The AC compressor when I got the car was kicking on. We weren't getting AC through the center vents, so we replaced the actuator pods, and we also needed a new mono valve, a Mercedes-Benz mono valve, which fortunately are available from Mercedes-Benz again, because the aftermarket repair kits that are out there are complete and total junk. So it's got a brand new mono valve. The push button control unit is a rebuilt one from Programma that was just installed. Unfortunately, with all that work to get the AC going again, we were still only getting 60 degrees at the center vents. So we got a brand new AC compressor, brand new receiver driver, brand new expansion valve, and the whole system was resealed with new O-rings. So this air conditioning system is working flawlessly now. When my mechanic was working, replacing the pods, he had all the wood out of the car. You know, it's a big job. You got to take apart the dash. So I had these 3 pieces of wood refinished by Madeira Concepts. The leather in this car is absolutely beautiful. The dash has no cracks. The original wood that was in the car, turn this off, wasn't in horrible condition, but it did have some cracks and some fading, so I opted to refresh all the wood. We've got new shifter bushings, brand new center link. Let me see, I'm sure there's quite a few things I'm forgetting, but I mean, I'll be honest with you, this car now drives really, really well. I mean, the car drives smooth, it tracks down the road straight, it's got great power, it fires up every time, it's got a brand new battery. It's a great car. I mean, let's see if I can get on it a little bit here, see if I can get this turbo to kick in. The shifts are really nice and smooth. Very, very nice car. I'm very proud of the way this car came out. It cost me a lot of money and a lot of time, cost my mechanic a lot of time. He spent, I would estimate hundreds of hours working on this car, all the things that we had to do with it. But I'm very pleased with how the car came out. I'll show you how the brakes work. Car stops on a dime. AC is nice and cold. Becker head unit works perfectly, as well as the power antenna.
This is the radio station that plays it all. You earn more points. Shrimp and cilantro.
Yeah, this car, I feel I have it dialed in. There's only two things on this car that are not presently working. I thought I had everything working. The clock in the dash moves, but doesn't tell correct time, because I've set it about 3-4 times and it seems like it may be either an hour off or an hour ahead after 24 hours. So the clock is not keeping proper time. And just the other day I was out driving the car and I went to use the cruise control, and the cruise control is now suddenly not working. I mean, it's something that I wish I knew about when my mechanic was replacing the actuator pods, because it would have been a very easy fix for him to repair the cruise control. So I'm going to disclose those two items. Cosmetically, I mean, this car really is a nice looking car. I picked this car up in the winter, and the very first thing I did was I brought it over to Lee's garage, because it had a scuff, a nasty scuff on the corner of it, the rear bumper. And with that scuff was also a pretty nasty scratch on the rear quarter. So I had them refinish the rear quarter and repaint the rear bumper. Came out beautiful. Just a few weeks ago, when I was dealing with all this AC stuff, and I sent the wood out to Madeira. It takes about 4 weeks to get the wood back from Madeira. I said, you know what, I've gone this far with this car. I didn't like the fact that the hood had a lot of stone chips in the front. So I brought it back to Lee's. They refinished the hood, and the trim pieces, the painted trim pieces that hold the headlamp wipers, they were pocked up pretty bad with rock chips. So I had them spray those also, so they're all fresh. So the face of the car looks really attractive now. Overall, the car, for 146,000 miles, I think this is about as good as it gets. I mean, we put a lot of effort into this car. And like I said, I'm very, very pleased with how it turned out. It's a great car. I would not hesitate for a second to drive it anywhere. I mean, if I was making a cross-country trip, I would have no reservations about taking this car and bringing it back home afterwards. It drives absolutely wonderfully. Great power, smooth. Anything that this car needed mechanically, we took care of. This car is turnkey, ready to be enjoyed. The new owner is going to be very pleased with the car. I'm going to put it on auction on Bring a Trailer, no reserve. With what I have into this car, I don't care. Wherever it winds up, I know the new owner is going to be very pleased. I don't play any games with the bidding. There's no show bidding on my auctions. This car is going to sell to the highest bidder. Shut this phone off again. But so that's it. That's the 1987 Mercedes-Benz 300 SDL. My little project that I've had since the winter. A little bit of a money pit, but hey, it comes with the territory.